Well, if you're a Dali buff, you're probably going to want to come here. If you're so-so about Dali, none of the really great works are at this museum, and you will be unpleasantly disappointed. Be also very cautious. You have to buy a ticket at a specific time to get entrance into the museum. So if you see a line of people, don't just walk in there and expect that you're going to go pay for a ticket. You actually have to get some type of a pre-reservation. And when your group time is called, if it's 12 o'clock, we'll say, for example, you got to be there at 12, and you have to be there at 12. I mean, there's a lot of people. I would say that this museum disappoints. It doesn't have the really great works of art. It's almost as if, and this is true with the Picasso Museum in Barcelona, like the home of Pablo Picasso, it was also lacking in the really great works. And so it's almost as if just by sheer fame, they just put minor works in this exhibit, and they will come, and they do come. You can see there's bukus of people. Again, if you are a Dali fan, then you sort of have to come here. It is north of Barcelona. Now, the other thing about getting here, the city is really difficult to find parking. Quite frankly, it's quite stressful to find parking. I'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, connected to this is this jewelry part. I didn't go into it a whole lot because the lighting is very bad and doesn't show up on the camera. So I don't know if that's part of a permanent exhibit or whether that was just something that they had. I think there's some of Dali's jewelry, or maybe all Dali's jewelry. I don't remember. It never really stuck out in my mind, and so I wasn't there to look at jewelry. I actually was there to look at his more famous pieces, but you will not find them here. So again, this is Dali's normal home. He also had a home near the coast. I mean, Figueres is close to the coast, but he had a summer home in Port Liguat. Probably not saying that right. But Figueres is in Catalonia, Spain, in Girona province. This is the main big room. Now, this painting, I have to say, was clever. So doing a self-portrait with the model facing the mirror. I mean, we have to say that this guy, without a doubt, was creative. I mean, I think after you reach a certain degree of fame, it's almost like you have a license to be as crazy and kooky as you want, and there's support for it. Again, I would say that a lot of these are very minor pieces. There's a few that are kind of interesting. If you're here, you're going to want to go through the entire exhibit just because you spent the time and you spent the money to get access to it. I do think a good technique when you go into these museums is to get out of the immediate entry, the immediate first rooms, and get away from the first rooms. It seems like people tend to congregate at the beginning of these museums, and if you get out and go almost closer to the end of all the rooms and work your way the other direction, you're going against traffic a little bit, but generally speaking, it's a little bit more peaceful. It's hard to really sort of look at these things and get a feel when there's all these people around. It's almost like you want to be in a more contemplative mindset, and it's quite difficult to do that, especially in these where the fame sort of garners a tremendous amount of people to come. I mean, I will say the rooms. Now, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This ceiling painting with the 2 feet. I mean, again, yeah, I have to give this man plenty of credit for creativity. I will say that this particular museum is overrated, and it's overrun with too many people, and they don't seem to care, so they're going to keep it going just the way it is. Now, I think we're looking at some of his more personal rooms in the house. Remember, this was his home, so this would be his bedroom. And I don't know if they added on to the. It seems like an awful big house. Whether they added on to it because of the museum and they just kept purchasing rooms, or whether the entire structure was his home. Now, this is the one famous painting that is in this museum. So lap that one up. This is kind of a hologram room. I don't know. I can't remember if he did it, but if you can see it, you'll see a 3D image of people at a card game or sitting at a table. I'll get you a little bit better look here in a second. Yeah, I do think a lot of art is here. We'll kind of focus in. It's very difficult to catch it, but it's basically a three-dimensional holograph. I don't remember if this is a Dali piece of holograph or not. Yeah, and I think people, when we go to art museums, we move from our ordinary lives into wanting to see something extraordinary, something different. And I think that's the service that art provides. I mean, even this is a great piece. I stayed a little bit longer in some of the better pieces, so I'm going to include a few paintings that are not part of this exhibit that are some of Dali's more famous. I sort of expected to see more famous original works here, and they're not. I would say the same thing with Pablo Picasso's home in Barcelona. It disappoints. I thought these were interesting. Just a splash of color.